guys, B.E.D Brewer here. Today we're going to talk about...
I just put potassium sorbate in my beer. No!
Relax. First we need to understand how potassium sorbate works and how yeast interacts normally with its environment. So yeast will first look at its environment, and if it's safe to reproduce, it will begin taking all of those nutrients, duplicating all of its cellular structures, and then it will spin off a daughter yeast cell. This, as you can imagine, causes a great deal of stress on the yeast itself, using a lot of energy to duplicate itself, and then spinning off another organism is quite stressful. So under normal circumstances, a yeast cell will live between 1 and 2 weeks. Potassium sorbate in sufficient concentration will tell the yeast cell that it is not safe to reproduce. Now, there is less required of the potassium sorbate depending on what's in solution, including presence of alcohol, carbon dioxide, acidity of the solution. So a live active yeast out of a starter is going to very happily continue to consume all of the sugars, fart out carbon dioxide, and piss out alcohol, so we can go ahead and do primary fermentation, no problem.
I'm saved, I'm saved, I'm saved.
And after fermentation, if we have a still beverage, something like a red wine or a white wine that we don't need carbonation, we're quite fine. We can go ahead and bottle it, set it aside, no problem. Also, if we're kegging and we generally use forced carbonation, we're also not going to notice any issues because we don't need those yeasts to be live and active. However, after primary fermentation, the yeast cells go into dormancy, and they're not going to leave dormancy if it's not safe to reproduce.
But I'm gonna bottle. I'm ruined, I'm ruined.
We then have 2 options, neither of which are good. Our first option is to go ahead and create a new yeast starter and pitch this starter along with some extra sugar. This is problematic because we don't know exactly how much sugar is available for the yeast to consume, so we can either end up with exploding bottles, overcarbonated beer, or dramatically undercarbonated beer, which also is not going to taste very good. The other option is we can go ahead and bottle it still and then use it only for cooking. Now, we won't be able to use it for any breads or recipes that require the yeast to be active because, again, there's potassium sorbate, but we can use it for things like steaming a fish or poultry, using it for a brining solution, or we can use it anywhere that beer would normally be used as an ingredient, things like beer brats and that sort of thing. So thank you very much for your time. Give me a like if you learned something, if you enjoyed the episode, and until next time, happy brewing.